All right. Well, it's 6:02. We'll go ahead and get started. My name is Steve Neighbor. I am Des Moines city engineer and Des Moines resident. Excited tonight to help host the public information meeting for the Ingersoll Avenue improvements, Phase 5. And this is to talk about the construction. Our city council in December held hearing approving the plans and awarding the construction contract for Phase 5 to Shakar Engineering. Uh, and uh, and so that project is getting ready to start construction. So we wanted to hold this public information meeting to just recap the improvements. I know there was another public open house in October that reviewed the design, but we're going to recap the proposed improvements. And then also we have Scott Almeida with Kirk and Michael, the city's consultant, to help us talk through the staging as well. And so, again, this is a public information meeting for the Ingersoll Avenue improvements, Phase 5, focusing on 31st Street to 35th Street. We are this slide may be dated. Some of you probably have more current versions of Zoom, but either way, hopefully you have on your Zoom application the ability to raise your hand and also the chat functions. So we asked in order to keep an orderly meeting, that you raise your hand. And I have team members, including Chris Cool, project engineer, Tom Block, deputy city engineer, Dave Camp, chief design engineer, John Davis, city and traffic engineer, on helping out, watching to make sure that we, see if you raise your hand, or if you have a chat, you can post a question in the chat. Let's see if we got here. And so feel free to post questions that way. But again, we're going to give a presentation and then we'll open up for questions. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Also, thanks. I see we have Councilmember Carl Voss on with us, as well as Lauren Koloff with the Avenues joining us as well. So thank you both. And again, we'll go ahead and get started here. Again, looking at the screen, I just have the screen up here for those. I don't see anybody on with a phone. If there's anybody with a phone, they could press *9 to raise their hand and *6 to mute and unmute themselves. But otherwise, it looks like most people are using the Zoom application, and so can use the raise hand and lower hand functions from that and the mute and unmute functions from that. So, all right, so we'll talk. I'm going to give a quick overview of the history. Again, I know we had a public meeting recently in October to review the design, but I'll recap the history and recent improvements, what we're looking at doing with this project, as well as, and then as mentioned, Scott Almeida with Kirk and Michael is going to talk about the construction staging. Would also like to call out, we've got representatives and leadership from the contractor, Shakar Engineering, Chandra Shakar, Matthew Sundberg as well, and Roberto Saravia are on this Zoom meeting as well. So we have leadership from the contractor as well on here. So the history, this dates back 20 years, and when the planning efforts and started to improve Ingersoll Avenue and make it a unified pedestrian-friendly street. And in fact, in 2007, 2008, the first Streetscape project was completed, and that was the section between essentially 28th and 31st. In 2010, the street was converted from a 4-lane to a 3-lane roadway, and then in 2018, the Avenues Ingersoll ran led an effort to do a phasing study to how do we attack the construction of this project, how do we phase it. And then in 2019, the final cross sections were approved, and then and so this is the graphic where we are today. And so phases 1 through 3 between Martin Luther King Jr. Parkway and 28th Street were completed between 2020 and 2023. Phase 4 between 28th and 31st Street was completed in 2024. And so tonight we're here to talk about the upcoming phase between 31st Street and 35th Street. anticipated to start this year, this construction season, and be completed, by summer of next year. And I do want to also point out the city had a sewer separation project that, due to a consent decree with the state, we had to have a combined sewer overflow at 22nd and High closed, within a certain time frame, and so we had to install a sewer from essentially 35th up to 41st Street. We went to 42nd on the improvements. So because we were installing the sewer at that time, with putting the large sewer in, we put back the concrete work essentially in preparation for the streetscape. And so that's why you probably saw there's just the north half of Ingersoll Avenue was done. That was because it was done as part of a sewer project that had to be done in accordance with the consent decree for environmental purposes, to improve stormwater drainage, as well as manage and decombine the combined sewer system that was in the neighborhood. So again, this is to talk about the phase between 31st and 35th Street. Here's a beautiful aerial view, I believe taken by Kirk and Michael, that shows some of the work that's been completed. This upcoming phase is going to continue that same cross section that you see in the aerial and that you see out there today. And so I always like to look at, well, why one reminder, but why are we doing this project? Okay, well, there's a number of reasons. One, the existing pavement needs complete reconstruction. We've essentially had to band-aid it to hold it together, but the pavement needs complete reconstruction. That's removing in its entirety all the way down to the dirt and building a brand new pavement section with a new granular base course, sub drains, under drains, storm sewers, and a whole new full depth pavement. Resurfacing would be like if we just milled 2 inches, put 2 inches back, it'd be like putting a band-aid on a broken bone. So we need to completely reconstruct the pavement. So that's one thing. And so because we're reconstructing the pavement, now is the time to make safety and streetscape improvements. Okay. And along with that, along this corridor, especially this stretch of the corridor between 31st and 35th, and there'll be some pictures later that show this, but we have some sidewalk, especially on the south side, just west of 31st Street, that's in poor condition. It's heaved. It does not meet the Americans with Disability Act requirements and standards for providing an accessible route due to the grades and the slopes. And so, quite frankly, to just fix the sidewalk alone by itself would be extremely costly, to say the least. And so this street, by reconstructing the road, that gives us an opportunity to address those great issues with the sidewalks. So again, we got to reconstruct the pavement. We got to deal with the sidewalks that are in poor condition and need to be replaced. And then we also want to make the safety improvements. And you can see the data on the right. This is the city staff. Our traffic and transportation staff have been collecting before and after data. You can see the crashes have drastically reduced, since before this whole project started. And also with that, kind of goes hand in hand. The average speeds have been reduced as well. And so those are great things, to say the least. The city of Des Moines is committed through Vision Zero DSM to eliminate crashes that result in fatalities and serious injuries. And so our focus is not necessarily to get someone from A to B as fast as possible. It's to get people from A to B as safe as possible. And so we need to, when we do these projects, think about all street users, everyone who uses the street, whether it be the vehicles, transit users, pedestrians, bicyclists, everyone that uses the street, and how is it safe for everyone who uses it. And so that's when we think about safety, that's our focus. And so again, we're going to continue that cross section that you see to the east with the sidewalks, protected bike lanes, making the crosswalks accessible, meeting the ADA requirements, as well as doing that streetscape beautification, that you see as well. And we've seen, not only the safety and benefits of doing this project. Here you see some of the data that's also been collected. 2.7 million visitors to Ingersoll Avenue over the fiscal year, July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. So again, increased foot traffic, absolutely awesome. Economic impacts, you can see the incremental valuation that's occurred with the development in the area. We're extremely proud, to say the least. I'm proud as a resident of Ingersoll. It's a place. It's a vibrant place that you want to be, and so these numbers are definitely reflecting that. And I like to always show a picture. I think a picture tells a lot. Here was an aerial photo taken in 2020. And here's a more recent drone photo of the same exact location between 24th and 28th Street. So this is right between the section between 24th and 28th. I think a picture tells a lot about not only the vibrancy, but what is an easier, more safer street for pedestrians to cross, as well as vehicles traveling the corridor, trying to slow people down, as well. So this graphic just shows kind of the overall improvements between 31st and 35th Street. One thing we're going to do with that is the speed limit will change with this project. So the speed limit is going to be changed to 25 miles an hour, and that's throughout the whole corridor. And so the speed limit is going to be changed to 25 miles an hour from Martin Luther King Jr. Parkway all the way west through this project. And so, and that's, again, a result combined with the project to try and make this corridor safer and slow vehicular traffic as it travels through this corridor. And here's another graphic that kind of shows that cross section that you see to the east. Again, with the 3-lane roadway, the parking stalls, which have permeable pavers, and that's a stormwater benefit. Normal pavement, the stormwater just runs across the pavement, gathers into a storm intake, and races to a storm sewer, and then races off to the river. And so we want to promote groundwater infiltration as much as possible and reduce that stormwater runoff. And try and promote that groundwater recharge. And so these parking areas, the water is designed to go through the pavement system and hopefully do as much groundwater recharge as possible. And so that's the parking pavers. And you can see those to the east as well. The protected bike lane and the sidewalks and streetscape elements as well. And this graphic kind of just shows through the different phases. I don't know if Scott, do you want to transition here, or does that work for you?
Fine.
Yeah. So.
Yep. Again, Scott, I'm with Michael, a design consultant for this project. So we'll go through 3 slides here, but it kind of shows one of the previous slides just in more detail. So this is at 35th Street. So Price Chopper would be in the center of the screen to the north there. Then the big project Goldfinch Loft would be to the south side here, what is marked as lot 444 in that area. So this is that area of the streetscape. Off to the right, you can see the new pedestrian crossing. That will be directly in front of the Casey's store, is where that will be located. There's a lot of foot traffic that crosses right there. I can mention Windsor Terrace and a lot of people trying to get across. So that will be a new overhead crossing, just like the other ones you see with the flashing beacons. If you can go to the next slide, please. It's kind of the middle of the project. So 34th Street, Casey's is to the left, Windsor Terrace is to the south, and then you move to the center. The center parcel in the bottom there is Caribou Coffee. To the north are some other like Solar Pond. Jesse's Embers is kind of marked so you can see it say Jesse's Embers. So that's where Jesse's is at. And then to the southeast of that, with that big pink parking lot, is where the post store is and the station on Ingersoll. Go to the next slide, please. And then this gets us down to 31st Street. So the big north area there, Chase Bank is on the corner, and then that development, our Tesla will be going in once they break ground to the north. So that kind of takes us through the whole section of the corridor. The street has a big crown in the center, so we'll be installing storm sewer in both directions. Believe it or not, this section of Ingersoll has never had any storm sewer. It actually has extakes. which is where stormwater from Grand Avenue comes down to Ingersoll here and shoots out of the intake and runs down the street. So we'll be solving a lot of drainage issues by just simply adding storm sewer to the street for its first time. So next slide. As Steve mentioned, some of the sidewalks here are extremely bad, so we'll be pulling out that tree, doing all new wider sidewalks through the whole corridor. These sidewalks here on the right will be pushed down, so there'll be new landscaped walls, new steps. Everything will be ADA compliant and easily traversable. So that'll be a huge benefit for this corridor. Next slide, please. There will not, things you won't see, you will not see any medians in this section. That was the feedback we heard. Moving forward, there's been no medians since we got west of 28th Street, so there will not be any medians. We're also doing away with the railings. Unfortunately, those are a maintenance nightmare, and they get hit a lot by either snow removal equipment or people hopping the curb and running into them. So you will not see any more of those metal railings. There's a long-term maintenance problem for the avenues. So parking. Everyone wants to know about parking. Well, this is the first for us. We're actually increasing parking on the street, and this is 100% due to the cooperation with local owners and of property. So you can see all those red X's in there. So we're actually removing 5 driveways from this section. So that's a huge improvement, not only for pedestrians and cyclists, but for people who want to park on the street as well. So every driveway we can remove, honestly, we gain 4 to 5 parking spaces. So thank you to all those who have removed driveways. Goldfinch in the southwest corner with their new development was able to remove 2. Collaborate DSM was able to remove theirs in the southeast corner. And then this new Artesa development did not need theirs either, as they have access from a different access agreement. So really proud to say we have 2 additional parking spaces new. We're adding parking to this corridor instead of decreasing it. So it's a really good win for the project in the corridor. Next slide, please. Okay, a lot of you probably want to know about construction staging. So this will be very similar to what was just recently done on the pilot project area, 28th to 31st. So we'll be starting this spring. The contractor will start in the area in green. So we'll be working on the south side. This is where we have the most hills, the most stairs, and all those things. So it's going to be the more complicated part of the project. The first thing you will see, though, is Mid-American Energy show up. So they will be showing up to do overhead pole relocations. Currently, there's a pretty ugly pole line running through there on wood poles. This will get converted to new black poles, and everything will be restrung. The poles move about 3 feet from their current location, but they'll be showing up here, I believe, starting early February. So in about 2 weeks, hopefully they'll start installing these new black poles through the corridor, restringing the new electric. And then you'll see all the people who also hang on those poles show up as well. So you'll see MediaCom and CenturyLink and maybe MetroNet come in behind them and restring, and then those old wood poles will come out. So it's a much cleaner look. The old poles were in the way of the streetscape anyways. So that's what'll happen first. And then our contractor will come in and start doing storm sewer, water main relocations on the south side. So in the green area will be first, so all the traffic will be pushed to the north. I'll show some graphics here in a minute about what that'll look like. So they'll be doing the green first. The blue area will be their staging area, so that's they can get concrete trucks in and deliveries and other things like that. And then there's some very specific site staging for some of the owners through here, and we've met with them, and we're going to continue to meet with them to make sure that their needs are met. Obviously, everyone needs to stay open at all times, so during business hours, all businesses will be open. We and the contractor will work with any of the owners to shut down their driveways and replace them when they're closed, or find specific times where we can get in and out real quick. So we've done this, again, it's a stage 5, so we've done this a lot of times. And then the plan for 35th Street and 31st is those to be open. We will close them for a short duration to do these areas that you kind of see in orange, pink, yellow, and blue. So we'll do the bulk of the work. And then when we're ready to pave, like that long section in teal, the orange section, called stage 1C, we'll come in and rip out that pavement, put in the sub base in a few days, and then pave it with the rest of it. So those closures are extremely limited. We don't want to close 31st or 35th anymore than we have to. So those should remain open 95% of the time or more of the project. just these short little durations. We'll go in there, rip out the pavement, and put it back as we're doing the rest of the large pavement. So once the green is done, we'll pave the area in blue, and then everything will flip. We'll work on the north side later in the year and kind of do the same sort of thing. We'll go to the
In
next.
the
Yeah.
Oh, I'll just like Scott. I see Matt Sundberg from the Shakar Engineering. You have your hand up. Let me see if I can get you to unmute there. Oh, there you go, Matt.
Hi, Matt Sundberg, Scar Engineering. I'm the project manager on this endeavor. I just want to make a quick comment on the phasing. We will have to do the 4 crossovers for the storm sewer from the north to the south before we really get into the south portion.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Appreciate that, Matt. Yep. Yep. Matt is correct. So to add storm sewer to the project, we'll be adding. There'll be an initial stage right after the electric where they come in and we'll shift traffic around a little bit in the streets. You may one day be going to the right of some construction, another day to the left, as we just put in a few pipes across the street that we'll need for both stages, and then we'll pour some temporary pavement. So yeah, correct, Matt. Thank you for addressing that. I forgot about that one.
Thank you, Matt. All right, Scott.
Okay.
Next slide, right?
Yep. Next slide.
Yeah.
This is just a section of kind of what you'll see. Again, if you drove during the last section, it'll be the same thing. Traffic will be head to head. We'll push you all the way over, put a concrete barrier there for your safety and the contractor's safety, and then we'll do our work. And so they'll build the streetscape first and the walls in the upper right area. And then once that's done, they'll go in and pave the street. That barrier rail will keep everyone protected and separated, except for where we have driveways. For commercial driveways, the pavement will probably get torn out early, and then we'll have granular surfacing with signs that tell you how to get to that business. Very similar to anything you've seen before in previous projects. If you go to the next slide, it's just the same thing. Switch to the north side. We will not want to open up that permeable paver parking on the south side. We'll block that off. It's just a little tight with that barrier rail for safety. There isn't quite enough room there, so we're not going to open that parking on those pavers yet until we get that north side done. So there will not be any parking on street while we're doing this. Luckily, this zone here has quite a bit of off-street parking. So we're working with business owners. I've met with a lot of them to figure out how we can get whether it's employees parked in different areas and work with other local owners to kind of share parking as we work our way through this. So next slide, I think pretty much bring up to the end. The design team contacts, again, I'm Scott Almeida with Circle Michael. Lauren, a lot of you may know, is the Avenues director. And then Chris Cool, City Des Moines, is the project engineer. So the 3 of us have been kind of walking down this project pretty much since its inception. Lauren came in, I think, during phase 2 or 3, but we've been on this for the whole time. So a lot of you probably met us before if you're a local business owner. The next slide, I believe, is the contractor for the project. Star Engineering, located here in Des Moines. Again, Matt was on. He's the project manager. Chandra is president, and then Roberto will be the project super. So you will see staff on site every time there's construction. So there'll be people from Shakar on site. Also, we'll have one of my guys on site as well. Cliff, he was out there 2 years ago on the previous project. So we'll always have representation on site. Should you need anything or see an issue, please feel free to find one of us, and we can get any issues addressed immediately. So, Steve, I think that's timeline. So we obviously had that open house back on October 16th at Palmer's Deli. The project was bid in November, which is now last year. And again, we plan on starting construction here technically in February with Mid-American and Utilities. Shakar, I believe, intends to show up on site to do some of those storm cross runs early to mid-March. And then we'll work throughout the year, and then we'll have some items, rolling into 2027 to finish up. Next slide, please.
Yeah, and that kind of brings us to around here's again that snapshot of the phase. Again, starting up here soon, and then the completion in summer 27. Obviously, if things with weather, we hope to that this goes quicker. But we're going to go into questions here. I do see some in the chat that I'm going to start off with. I see a question from Amanda that says, if the 31st Street closure happens to close, or if the 31st Street closure happens close to winter weather, it's super important to have all available lanes in that area. The ability to get up going south on 31st is very difficult during the snow and winter weather conditions when the lanes are reduced. So I hope this, so again, talking about during winter weather, I don't know I think that's, Mid-American, Scott, as you mentioned, Mid-American will start up, but I'm not sure about
Mhm.
31st Street closing. Right?
Yeah, 31st, we'll have to close it twice. I guess you go back to the staging diagram if you don't mind. Yeah, that one there. So, stage 1C in orange is probably going to be in July. And again, we're talking a few days. Stage 2B in pink should again be very short. And I think in the schedule, it's showing that more like September, October-ish. Um, so it should not be anywhere close to winter weather. Again, the main body of the street is asphalt, and so that plant closes at Thanksgiving every single year. So we aim to be a good month ahead of that with any projects to make sure that our asphalt is down because come Thanksgiving you can't get it anymore. So, um, Matt, if anything you guys want to jump in from that, but yeah, we shouldn't be close to that, but good comment, appreciate that. We know how critical these side streets are, so the stipulation is on a contractor for, well, I want to say 7 to 8 days, maybe as much as two. I think it's even 2 weeks. I'd have to look, but it's a very short duration for those closures. And the good news is we just have to rip out the old pavement, grade it, and then put that asphalt down. So should be extremely short.
So either way, it sounds like the work in the 31st intersection is not probably going to happen until this summer and into the fall and under a short duration. So, but then there's also a question about communication in North of Grand neighborhood, and I see Lauren had just shared that she's been sharing the social media and the newsletter and making sure the North of Grand president's on the email list, and hopefully, I had emailed information on this meeting to the whole North of Grand Neighborhood Association leadership as well, at least not only about this meeting, but where to find the project and stuff and as well. So yeah, thank you, Amanda, appreciate it. Okay, we have another question in the chat here. If there won't be street parking on Ingersoll for more than a year, would the city consider not enforcing the 2-hour parking limit on the side streets? Now, I'm not seeing us. We have not done that. I think we've got. Um, let's see here. Yeah, we have not been able to. The hard part would be where to limit being allowed to do that. How would we tell enforcement where and when? We have not done that for construction projects in the past. So we know it's definitely impactful. We're trying to stage this to try and keep the businesses open as much as possible, but yet get done as quickly as possible. So, and the trouble, and so the question is, can we just take down the signs? I mean, the challenge we've experienced when we take out, if we take down the 2-hour signs, is there can be vehicles that will just park there and stay there and never move. And so generally in our commercial areas and corridors like this in downtown, we want people to turn over the parking. So. All right. If there's any questions, please feel free to continue to add in the chat or feel free to raise your hand using the Zoom application. And I failed to mention during the presentation, but we are recording this as well. So if you know folks that wanted to see this, we are recording this, and we'll get this posted on a website here. I see a question here from Kim. I concerned of how long the 3,200 parking lot will take, how long the 32 parking lot will take and the accommodations for the freight carriers. And so, I don't know, Scott, if you're, let's see here, 3,200 parking lot, see if we can find
You
a
go to the yeah, go to the
drawing
individual site
here.
ones and one more, please.
There
Yeah,
we go. On
the
the
3,200. Yeah, we actually have a meeting tomorrow with the owner of that site, and we met. I think we might have met a couple of weeks back, but we've engaged the contractor. We are in the mindset that they need to close the store. Um, yeah, we're still open. We don't have a specific set plan yet. And so I'm assuming you work at the post store. So yeah, that one is a challenge. Obviously we had that meeting a while back. We're gonna have our pre-construction meeting here soon. I've asked the contractor to go out and look at the site and help us brainstorm different ways to get this done quickly. We have a meeting tomorrow. I think Laura and I'm not sure of the time. We'll actually be meeting with the site owner tomorrow as well. So this is our most difficult location here, and it's one of our top priorities is to make sure that that is down for as short as possible. We would love to leave the parking lot alone and not touch it. Unfortunately, due to the grade, we need to fix it. So upside, you'll have a brand new parking lot. Downside, it'll be down for a short amount of time, but we are still committed to making that happen in an extremely short time window. And so I should hopefully know some more here within the next few weeks. And this is scheduled to happen. I want to say mid-May. Matt, jump in if you need to. Is it even April? That this,
Yeah, I think I don't have my schedule pulled up, but I think it was having that done in May. So from a comment we had earlier in a meeting was to get it done before the World Cup. So
Mhm.
that parking lot would all be opened up again. One thing we're looking at now is maybe doing night work through there to help avoid impacting customers during the day while we're in
Sure.
there working. But I mean, we'll finalize those plans in the next few weeks as well.
Yep. A lot of questions coming in. The work, as mentioned, I think we were looking to be is April. I want to say in the schedule it showed April, so it'd be after March Madness, before World Cup. Is at least where I saw it on the schedule, I believe, Matt. I want to say it was for 23 or 4. It's somewhere in there. But yeah, we're cognizant of March Madness and the station and everything. So we'll be having a pre-con soon and kind of trying to flush out the schedule better and uh, working with you guys to figure out when we'll be there. So another question for the two sculptures that are on the 31st Ingersoll block. I know there is one sculpture. I'm aware of the one. I'm not thinking of the second one. There's a sculpture in front of Collaborate, and that is getting, what is that saying, Chris? Do you remember? We're either
Yeah,
removing it
I can
or keeping
chime
it.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amanda, the only one I know of is the one in front of Collaborate. And yeah, we worked with the property owner to sort of like build around it. Oh, the deer, that one's in Florida. That's 40, that's all the way up at 42nd Street. That's at the Plymouth Place property. So that one won't be impacted in this phase. And it's enough in their property that the deer shouldn't probably be impacted at all. But the Collaborate one, we're like building around it.
Can you go to the previous or one slide back? I'm seeing a question about 3209.
Yeah, that was one we missed. Emily asked when we work in front of 3209,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
kind of across
Yep,
the
that's the
street
Gemini
from.
building with the arch on the front of it. So that one would be in the fall. I could try to pull up my schedule here and see. Um, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, I believe August, we're looking at like August 1st to switch to the north side. Does that sound right to you? The tentative schedule would be August, September, October would be the work on the north side. I'm trying to remember the schedule in my head here. Yep. Yeah. And all driveways, all businesses will stay stay open at all times, except for when we have to tear out these driveways and put them back. And we would like to do those outside of business hours when we can. So again, we'll be on the street every single day. We'll have weekly construction meetings. So we hope you guys know weeks in advance of when anything like this would be happening. Is there any questions we didn't address?
I know Kim mentioned just wanting to know the window of time for the 3,200 lot, and that's just something. Kim, I apologize. I don't know if you're in the meetings or Scott. You mentioned there's
Yeah, we
future.
went and we sat down with them at the station, Ingersoll, a couple weeks back, and trying to figure out what works best for them, with them and the locksmith and the beauty salon upstairs, and so we're all over that. And now that we've got the contractor on board, Matt's talking about maybe doing some night work. So we don't have our formalized plan yet, any way, shape, or form. We're looking, April, May for that work. But we will continue to work with you, and again, have a meeting tomorrow with Mr. Margulies. So we'll be continuing to figure that out.
Yeah. And here I just flashed the contacts up. If Kim, if you hadn't been including those, that there's Scott's email as well if you want to provide your information.
Yep, and I see a comment there about busy bubbles. That is something we are promoting. Again, we have to work with the owner to get that approval, but yes, if we're able to, and that's in the bottom right corner here, that 532 East 31st Street possible alternate access. Oops, go back. You were on it.
Which one?
One more. Yes, right there. In the very bottom right corner of the picture, there's like a little arrow and down, go down, farther down. Yep, right there. Yep, so that's their busy bubble is no longer there and is now being used for parking. But yeah, in the past, the contractor, I believe, rented out that parking lot and is able to use it for staging. Also, in this case, we're hoping to be able to use it for alternate access. That is something we have to work out with the private property owner. So we'll be getting Shakar in contact with them, and hopefully we can work out, because that would be ideally, yes, absolutely, to be using that access. So that's something we have identified on our staging sheet specifically, the possibility.
Yeah, great question, Amanda. Okay. Appreciate the questions. Like I said, please feel free to continue to use the chat, or feel free to raise your hand through the Zoom application. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. We'll be, again, with the weekly meetings. Lauren will be out on a little bit of maternity leave, but I'll be taking over her duties as sending out the weekly email blasts. So once we do actually start construction here in early March, that's when you should start getting weekly emails from us as to what's happening. We will meet on site every single week throughout the entire project to know what's coming up next for not only the current week that we're on, the week after that, and the week after that. So hopefully you will get notice at least 3 to 4 weeks ahead of when a major impact would happen.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren. Lauren just posted a link to the avenuedsm.com /moving -forward. So please check out the avenuedsm.com website. It's a very well designed site providing a lot of updates. There's a lot of information on there. So there's a link right there in the chat. Thank you, Lauren.
This is Matt with Shakar again. Just looking at my schedule right now, that 3,200 property, we're looking at getting into there tentatively right now, April 20th, and be there for, I think, 14 calendar days.
That would be to build the wall and redo the parking lot, and there's kind of a whole bunch of stuff there. Yep. So yeah, that's not saying the parking lot will be closed that long, but that's how long they plan to be there to put that wall together. The wall is basically a giant Lego block, so they have nubs on them, they suit together, so that should go pretty quick, and then get that parking lot knocked out. I did see a comment there about the bricks under the streets. We do on this section anticipate to find bricks and trolley tracks once again. which is part of the reason the street's so bad. It's 100 years old or more. It just can't last that long. So, Matt, is that something you want to discuss? Yeah, I think there's some some bricks under there. That's a contractor question there.
I mean, we have it in
Volume
our
and stuff.
plan for removing the trolley tracks as necessary as we encounter them. As far as the
Question
bricks
is on
go,
bricks. Yeah.
as far as the bricks go, normally we just remove them and dispose of them, but I guess if people are interested in them, then maybe something can be worked out, having them staged somewhere.
Yeah, likely, if they're able to, as they pull them out, if we remember to, they could just drop a bucket or two towards the side of the project site, and they some could be salvaged. Um, yeah, we'll see what we can do there. We'll put that into our notes and try to be cognizant of that. We did save, just for information, we did save some of the trolley tracks. If you go to the Waveland Trolley Monument, that's our switch actually from 25th and Ingersoll is part of that display now. So some tracks were saved and are actually on display over at Waveland. Um, we're not sure how much we'll find. Some sections of the tracks were gone. Some sections they're still there. So it will be really interesting to see what we find.
And Kim had a clarification question on there. Matt, you mentioned 14 days. Is that you're assuming just 14 calendar days, or is that more? She mentioned Monday through Friday. Would that be more like a few weeks?
Working days versus calendar
14
days.
working
No,
days.
the contract specifies 14 calendar days, so we'd
Okay.
probably be working multiple crews and working 7 days a week until that's done.
So it looks like the hope is it's 14 calendar days, so 2 full weeks, Kim. Hopefully that is the
Yeah,
hope.
and that time we don't anticipate to having you close. Our goal will to be continue to have access. I know we talked about maybe trying to find a spot for the delivery trucks to still get in and other stuff, and so we'll try to figure all that stuff out, what works best for you.
Okay. Excellent. All right, we'll pause a little bit if there's any more questions on the chat or if anybody wants to raise their hand. As you can see, I do have our design team contacts up. If you think of any questions, feel free to send a follow-up email.
Yep. We're open books. Anytime you guys have any questions, like that brick was a really good question, anything like that, please feel free to give us any questions. Obviously, when the site is operational, please don't wander into the work site. If you have any questions, one of my guys will be out there. Email me, call us. Any questions you have, we're happy to answer anytime.
Yeah. I really appreciate, like I said, everyone taking the time to join us. I also appreciate, very thank you to Lauren Koloff with the Avenues, does an awesome job communicating, and Councilmember Voss, he did have to duck off to go to another meeting, and thank you to Shakar Engineering. I had appreciate Chandra, Matt, and Roberto also being on this meeting so they can hear some of the comments that you all have. And so thank you, Shakar Engineering team. So thank you, Scott, for helping give the presentations. We'll pause just for a second here to see if there's any last questions. The Brenton Skating Plaza is busy tonight still. It's good to see, even though it's cooling off a little bit. So all right. Well, I'm not seeing any more questions. Again, we'll be seeing utility work starting in February, as well as Matt mentioned, some of the storm sewer crossings as well. This meeting has been recorded, and it will be posted. Please check out the avenuesdsm.com And as Lauren posted, the avenuesdsm.com/moving-forward. There's a lot of information posted there. And I also have the contacts up if you have any follow-up questions. I really appreciate everyone joining us tonight, and thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. Thanks, Scott. Great job.
Thank you.